Hey everybody, we're currently in the shop with Rad Robotics and Nautilus. Nautilus is a featherweight robot built for NHRL. It's a vertical spinner. Right now in its current setup, it only weighs about 35 pounds. We'll get into the reason for that in a minute. But it can weigh 42 pounds, so we'll be working on getting it to that weight in the near future. So what makes Nautilus special is it's actually a shuffler. So you can see the inverted shuffling legs up on top, and then our shuffling legs on the bottom. We have the weapon unplugged so we can turn it on and show you the shuffling motion of the feet. And so what makes the shuffling of this robot pretty unique is it's actually a dual cam shuffler. So each side of the robot's drive will have two cams, a lift cam and a translation cam, and those two are timed together so that you have the minimum amount of leg lift per, revolution of the cam. So when it's flat on the ground, and this is something we found out at the first event, was when it was flat on the ground, it drove pretty well, but as soon as you start to wheelie a little bit, it will start to bounce more. So that's something we're going to be working on as well. So going into the, kind of the damage that we saw throughout the tournament, the first match against CityBot, we ran our, 10.5 pound disc setup, which is two 1/2-inch AR500 discs bolted together. And we really should have welded those two together because they shifted relative to each other after the first hit on CityBot. So we were concerned for that, and we ended up swapping to a single disc, which is why the robot only weighs about 35 pounds right now. But overall, after the CityBot match, we didn't take too much damage. After the first match against Dragon Princess, you can see our UHMW inner frames got a little chewed up by their forks. But the weirdest thing from the Dragon Princess match was our weapon belt actually got slightly tighter. So going into the competition, it was a little on the loose side, which I had spare belts that were slightly smaller, so I kind of wanted it that way so I could swap to them. But then after that match, this belt ended up fitting pretty much perfectly. Going into the emulsifier fight, we got one good hit on us on this front wedge here. And you can kind of see it. It's no longer floor scraping. So after that match, we went back and we tried to hammer it back down into shape, and that's what all these little marks are from. But that didn't really work. So what I did was I took a grinder and kind of ground it into a point so we'd only have one spot touching the ground in the front. And so that would help us drive and not get hung up on the floor. As far as damage, in the second Dragon Princess fight, the first Dragon Princess fight, we had one of our drive motor shafts fall out pretty much at the beginning of the match. You'll notice it at the beginning of the match, we go to box rush and it immediately turns really hard to the right. So that was actually our drive motor shaft falling out of the bell. So we took care of that, and then after that we didn't really have any issues with the shuffling mechanism throughout the tournament. The robot's completely functional still, but I think I have quite a few revisions planned for the finals in December. So with that, this is Nautilus, and we'll see you in December.